You're too slow, old man. Jake Paul's voice carried across the main training floor of Team Paul Boxing Gym in Cleveland, Ohio, in front of 8 cameras and 12 crew members. His voice wasn't just loud, it was being recorded. Everything was being recorded: YouTube content, Instagram stories, future podcast episode. Jake Paul's life was live-streamed, and that's exactly how he wanted it. The man standing across from him was in his mid-40s, maybe 5'9", around 185 pounds, lean but not bulky, the wiry muscle and tendon type. His dark hair, cut short, was starting to gray. His face was sun-damaged, bearing the marks of too many hot places, too much dry air, too little sleep, and too much stress. His eyes were brown and calm, the kind of calm that made people uncomfortable, because it clearly belonged to someone who'd seen too much. His name was Marcus Chen, 46 years old, working as a paid sparring partner at Jake's gym, $25 an hour, 3 hours a day, 4 days a week. It wasn't good money, but it paid the bills. And it let him train, which mattered, because training was the only thing that kept the trauma at bay. Marcus waited for Jake's response. Gloves up, guard position, patient. The kind of patience that decades of training and discipline put on display. Seriously, Jake continued, turning to the cameras. This was a show. It was always a show. They hired this guy as a paid sparring partner, and he's like moving underwater. I'm throwing combos, and he's still trying to figure out where my first punch was. A ripple of laughter spread through the room. Jake's training partner, his brother Logan, a few crew members. Everyone who knew Marcus and didn't know more about him, which was everyone, assumed Jake was right. The guy was clearly slow. Jake was 27, in his prime, professional boxer, multi-million-dollar fights, worldwide fame. And Marcus was a 46-year-old paid sparring partner. The math was simple. You know what? Jake said, starting to remove his gloves. This is a waste of time. Get me someone who can actually challenge me. Someone young, someone fast, not someone military background. Air Force, Marcus said quietly. Jake stopped. What? Air Force, not Army. Marcus's voice was flat, emotionless. He was correcting, not defending. Jake laughed. Oh, sorry, Air Force, big difference. Still just, I don't know, what were you doing? Standing around planes? Something like that, Marcus said. Yeah, I bet, Jake said to the cameras, that smirk back. Look, I respect our military, okay? But being a soldier doesn't make you a fighter. Being under fire doesn't make you a fighter. Being a fighter, a real fighter, is in the ring, in my cage, when someone's punching you and you're punching back. That's real combat. Marcus said nothing, just stood there, gloves still up, face calm. And I'm not blaming you, Jake continued. I mean, you're probably what, 45? 46? Had a good career in the military, now you're retired, trying to make some money? I get it. But you can't hang with me. I'm on a different level. Everyone in the room was watching. The cameras were recording. And Marcus Chen stood there, feeling the weight of that air from years ago. Afghanistan air, before a night drop. The silence before enemy fire came. Understood, Marcus said finally. He removed his gloves, looked at Jake. You're right, I can't hang with you. But just to be clear, when you talk about combat, real combat, what you experienced, that was in the ring, right? Jake laughed. Yeah, man. In the ring, where real fighting happens. Marcus nodded. Okay, just curious. He put his gloves in his duffel bag, turned his back on Jake, and there, as Marcus's athletic shirt rode up from his high collar, a few people in the room saw for the first time, on the right side of Marcus's neck extending to his shoulder, a tattoo, a military design, red and black ink, an insignia, and words. Logan Paul, Jake's brother, squinted. Hey, is that a combat controller patch? Marcus stopped. Jake turned. Combat what? Combat controller, Logan said, looking more closely at Marcus. They're Air Force Special Operations, like pararescue. Those guys are badass. Silence fell in the room. Jake looked at Marcus. "You were a combat controller?" Marcus zipped his bag. "Long time ago." "How long?" 2003 to 2015, 12 years, 7 tours. Marcus shrugged. "But you're right. That doesn't make me a fighter." He turned and started walking toward the door. Jake stood there, face flushed, feeling like someone had told an elaborate joke, but nobody had told him how elaborate it was. Everyone in the room was now looking at him. The cameras were still recording. And Marcus Chen walked out of the gym, that tattoo on his neck, the Air Force Combat Controller insignia, and below it, in small letters, 8 names, 8 men, 8 brothers who never came home. What Jake Paul didn't know, what nobody in that room knew, was what Marcus Chen had done in 2012, in Afghanistan, in Helmand Province, under enemy fire, within Taliban range, when a convoy was ambushed. But they were about to learn. That night, viral video. The video went live that evening. Jake's team edited it, titled it, "Jake Paul Destroys Slow Sparring Partner." It got 500,000 views in 3 hours. The comments were mostly supportive. "Jake's right, old guy too slow. Why you training with someone who ain't a real fighter?" But then, at comment 247, someone wrote something. "That slow old guy is an Air Force combat controller. His name is Marcus Chen. Do you idiots know what that is? Google it." People Googled. What is a combat controller? Combat controllers, CCT, are Special Operations Airmen belonging to United States Air Force Special Tactics. Their mission? Parachute or helicopter into enemy territory, secure airspace, coordinate air support while in enemy contact, and direct airstrikes in the middle of full combat while bullets are flying. Selection rate, under 10%. One of the toughest military training programs. Combines elements of Navy SEAL Bud S, Army Ranger School, and pararescue training. Physical requirements, extreme. Mental requirements, higher. Because making a mistake, miscoordinating an airstrike, means friendly fire, means killing your own men. Combat controllers are one of the highest decorated special operations units, and most people don't even know they exist. Marcus Chen served 12 years, 7 combat tours, 5 in Afghanistan, 2 in Iraq. And on April 23, 2012, in Helmand Province, he did something that earned him the Silver Star. April 23, 2012, Helmand Province, Afghanistan. Marcus Chen was in the lead vehicle when the convoy was ambushed, serving as radio operator on a dirt road called Route Blue, on a day when nothing was supposed to happen. The first RPG, rocket-propelled grenade, hit the second vehicle. The explosion was so high and so hot that Marcus felt the pressure wave before it melted his goggles. The Humvee rolled onto its side, caught fire. 4 men were inside. The second and third RPGs came within seconds. Roadside bombs, small arms fire coming from every direction. Classic Taliban ambush. Stop mobility, destroy vehicles, close in until there's nowhere to run. Marcus reached for his radio, changed frequencies, kept his voice in that trained calm, because if the pilot at the control base thinks you're dying from panic, he won't fly. Dagger Maine, this is Combat 6. We have TIC, Route Blue, Grid. He read the GPS coordinates, no urgency in his voice, as if ordering coffee. 2 vehicles hit, fire from every direction, requesting CAS. CAS, close air support, bombs on enemy positions, but they had problems. Problem 1, nearest air support was 12 minutes away. Problem 2, there were still men in the burning vehicles, alive, screaming. Problem 3, Taliban. Were coming from every direction, and the convoy was exposed like targets. Marcus hung up the radio, fell out of the vehicle, hit the deck. Bullets were cutting the air. There was an old military building, 20 meters right, half collapsed, but still functioning as a wall. If they could get everyone there, they could hold for 12 minutes. Maybe. The convoy leader, Captain Reeves, crawled up beside Marcus. "Chen, how far is air support?" 12 minutes. Damn it. We don't have 12 minutes. I know, sir. The screams from the burning vehicle were louder. Marcus looked at Reeves. I need to get them out. Are you crazy? You go there, you're too close. The F-16 can't drop the bomb. That's why I need to get them out before it burns, Marcus said. He started running toward the Humvee. The next 8 minutes were the longest 8 minutes of Marcus Chen's life. He ran to the burning vehicle, pulled out 4 men one by one unconscious, 2 burned, 1 with his leg trapped under glass. Marcus got third-degree burns on his hands holding metal. A shrapnel round passed through his head. A second round hit his chest plate, knocked him down but didn't kill him. He dragged the 4 men back to the building. Then he ran to the third vehicle. 3 more men, 1 dead, 2 wounded. He dragged them back too. 9 minutes had passed. Taliban were surrounding the building. Marcus reached for his radio, updated coordinates. Dagger main, combat 6, friendly secure, marking enemy positions. He pulled out a laser designator, CCT equipment, used to paint enemy targets so the pilot knows what to hit, and peered over the broken wall. Taliban fighters were running, entering 200 meters away, too close for comfort. But they had no choice. He held the laser on the Taliban position. Target painted, clear. The pilot came back. Visual confirmed, requested 500-pounder, distance to friendlies 220 meters. Chen, this is dangerously close. Copy, cleared hot. Say again, 220 meters to friendlies? Marcus watched the enemy position. They were approaching. In 30 seconds they'd be inside the building, and, with wounded men, Marcus's convoy would be dead. Cleared hot, now. 2 seconds of silence, then, bombs away. Marcus hit the ground, hands over ears, mouth open, standard procedure to protect your lungs from the shockwave. The bomb exploded 220 meters away. The shockwave collapsed half the building. Blood came from Marcus's ears. But the Taliban position was gone, obliterated. The convoy survived. 7 wounded, 0 dead. Marcus Chen received the Silver Star for combat valor. Later, military reports recorded the closest close air support call in their operations, ever. Any closer and you'd kill your own unit. Marcus never did it again, because his ears never fully healed. The burn scars on his fingers never disappeared. And that shrapnel wound in his head, small, nearly invisible, caused traumatic brain injury that eventually retired him from the military. In 2015, Marcus Chen took a medical retirement from the military. He was 33 years old, Silver Star, 3 Purple Hearts, 7 combat tours, and no civilian skills. So he moved to Cleveland, Ohio, started working as a paid sparring partner at gyms, and never told anyone about his past, until Jake Paul called him too slow. Video goes viral, social media explosion. Jake Paul's video had now reached 3 million views. But the comments had changed. Jake insulted an Air Force combat controller, Silver Star recipient, saved an entire convoy in Afghanistan. Google it. This man is a real warrior. Jake Paul is a joke. Marcus Chen could kill you without ever putting you in the ring. He can call in airstrikes. That's real combat. Jake owes an apology. This is shameful. The video spread to news sites. ESPN did a segment. Military blogs were furious. Veteran groups were calling out Jake. And Jake Paul, maybe for the first time in his career, faced real blowback. 1 week later, Jake Paul's podcast studio. Jake Paul sat in front of the microphone, cameras recording, and did something he rarely did. Admitted he was wrong. So, he said, looking directly at the camera, last week I made a terrible mistake. I dismissed a man named Marcus Chen, a sparring partner who works at my gym, without knowing anything about him. I called him too slow, too old, and belittled his combat experience. He paused. And then I learned that Marcus is an Air Force combat controller, served 12 years, 7 combat tours, saved men under fire, received the Silver Star, and I casually dismissed him because he didn't fit my narrow idea of what a fighter should look like. Jake ran his hand through his hair. That was wrong. Completely, absolutely wrong. And I want to publicly apologize to Marcus. And not just apologize. I want him to come here, to the studio, tell his story, because it's a story people need to hear. 3 days later, podcast episode. Marcus Chen sat across from Jake Paul, headphones on, microphone live, and felt completely out of place. But Jake had insisted. Public apology, public conversation, transparency. So Marcus, Jake said, and his voice sounded genuinely humble, what I want people to understand. Most people don't know what combat controllers do. Can you explain it to me? Marcus nodded. In simple terms? We enter enemy territory, usually by parachute or helicopter, and coordinate air support, fighter jets, helicopter strikes, cargo drops. Our job is to make sure ground forces get the air support they need. And this is dangerous. Yes, because to coordinate the air, you have to be at the point of enemy contact, while taking fire. You paint targets with laser designators so the pilot knows what to hit, and if you make a mistake, give wrong coordinates, you have friendly fire. You kill your own men. Jake was quiet. So, you're basically the liaison between the pilot and ground forces in the middle of heavy firefight. Yes? And how many times did you do this? Marcus hesitated. I don't know the exact number. 7 tours? Maybe 200 missions? 300? Most were routine, some weren't. The 2012 Helmand convoy rescue wasn't routine. Marcus's face hardened. No, it wasn't. Can you tell me what happened? For the next 30 minutes, Marcus Chen told the story. The ambush, the burning vehicles, the wounded men, the 220-meter bomb call, the shockwave that made his ears bleed. Jake Paul sat there and listened. Really listened. When the episode ended, Jake looked directly at the camera. If you're watching this episode, I want you to know who Marcus Chen is. Not just that slow sparring partner. He's a hero. He served. He fought. He saved lives. And I dismissed him because he was outside my narrow idea of what a warrior is. Jake turned to Marcus. I'm sorry, man. Truly. Marcus nodded. Accepted. The episode went live that weekend. It got 8 million views within 24 hours. The comments were the most positive yet. Jake really grew up. Respect. Marcus Chen is a legend. His story should be told to everyone. This is what a real apology and real conversation looks like. 1 month later, Team Paul Boxing Gym. Marcus Chen walked into the gym and everything had changed. Jake was there, by the ring, and when he saw Marcus, he smiled. Hey, Marcus, come here. I want to show you something. Marcus approached. Jake pointed to the back wall of the gym. There, newly hung, a large framed photograph. Young Marcus Chen, in combat controller uniform, in Afghanistan, with equipment, a helicopter behind him. Below the photo, a plaque. Marcus Chen, USAF combat controller, Silver Star, a hero serves quietly. Marcus's throat tightened. I wanted, Jake said, everyone to know who you are, what you did, and I don't see you as just another sparring partner. I want you to be head trainer. I want you to teach my team how to really fight, not just boxing, but real discipline, real endurance, real mental toughness. Marcus looked at Jake. Seriously? Absolutely seriously. Triple the salary, set your own schedule, and put your name on the building. This isn't just Team Paul Gym anymore. This is Team Paul Chen Gym. Marcus wiped his face with his hand. Couldn't speak. Jake grinned. Is that a yes? Yes, Marcus finally said. Yes, that's a yes. Marcus Chen's story reminds us, true strength doesn't seek recognition. It doesn't boast. It just serves quietly. And sometimes the greatest lessons come from admitting our mistakes, apologizing, and being better, no matter who we are, no matter how famous we are. If this story moved you, like, share, and subscribe to Empowering Stories to honor our veterans. Have you ever judged someone only to learn their incredible story later? Share below. Remember, The quietest service deserves the highest respect.